Hey guys, I'm going to do an overview of an arcade Supergun that is used to play old arcade boards. This one was made by Neotropolis for me several years ago. It is a great way to play old arcade Jamma boards or PCBs. I'm going to kind of show off a few things on the system itself. So the way they designed this here, you have the power button on the front. Light turns on when you turn on the system. You have a button here that can access the test menu in most arcade games, and I think if you press it right, or if it does that left, if you press right, I think it enters credits. And these buttons also enter credits for players 1 and 2. The system uses Neo Geo AES controllers, which is great. If you flip it around, here's the Jamma edge where you would connect to your board. I kind of labeled it just so I made sure I always connect it to the correct side. But on the back of the Supergun, you have a variety of inputs, which is nice based on the type of TV you might have. This kind of turns up the volume on the arcade boards. This is composite video, S-video, and components. So from left to right here, you kind of have your worst signal all the way to your best. And you have your power supply plug-in here. And this is what the power supply looks like for this particular Supergun. Not terribly big, just a nice brick. And you connect the end in, plug it in, and you're good to go. So I'm going to show off a few games, different arcade boards I have. Most of what I have are CPS-1 or CPS-2 boards, but most boards I've gotten, unless something was wrong with the board itself, work great and look great if you have the right TV using with this Supergun. So here's some gameplay footage. Alright guys, here is the arcade Supergun running on through component video. This is Saturday Night Slam Basters, which is an original copy of the game that you saw there in the pictures. Original copy of the arcade board. Playing in component video is absolutely amazing. I've played in some of the lesser video standards on different televisions, but this one just really looks great. The board still works great and all of that. One downside to using a Supergun like this, and a lot of them are like this, is they only support 2 players. So a board like this, either through the test menu on the game or through the Supergun, you can access the dip switches and save them. And a lot of them allow you just to set it for 2 players, because this board a long time ago might have been put in an arcade cabinet that only had 2 players. But you can change that to 4 players. But on this Supergun, there's no more options than just for 2 players. So if you're getting a game that does have 4-player capabilities, you may not be able to do that easily. There's probably a way to do it, to set it up with extensions to play 3 and 4 players, but I don't know how to do it. It's probably more complicated than I'm ever going to get into. So that is one downside to a lot of Superguns, is kind of you're maxing out with just 2 players. But if that doesn't matter to you, then getting a Supergun to play these old arcade boards, it's a lot of work to get all the needed pieces. But when you do, to me, it's a much better play experience than just downloading the game. To kind of play on original hardware, to play on a board that was once used in arcades a long time ago. So here's Saturday Night Slam Master. I'm going to show off at least one other arcade game using this Supergun also. Alright guys, so this is Dunk Dream 95 for the arcade. This is an original arcade board, the Japanese version of the game. This was a Data East MLC cartridge. The game's kind of similar to NBA Jam. It's 3-on-3 basketball. One thing I really like about this particular basketball game, you can play 2-player co-op in the game. This is another game that you would be able to play 4 players on, 2 for each side, I believe, if you had the capabilities for it. But with this Supergun, you can only play 2 players, but it's still a great game. This is outputting in component video. And again, it just looks absolutely phenomenal if you get the right TV and everything set up the right way. Another steel, laid it in. But I wanted to kind of let anyone know, the reason I'm making this video is to kind of show what the Supergun does. I know you can find other videos out there, but this particular one made by Neotropolis has really been great going to overtime. Let's see how we finish up. And there's other ways to play a lot of these games, but to me, playing an original arcade board, something that was in an arcade a long time ago, is really, I don't want to say the definitive way to play, but it's a great way to play on this original hardware as opposed to just downloading it. And so the game ends in a draw if you get one overtime. But if you're looking for a different way to play arcade games, I highly recommend kind of looking into Superguns like this one or other ones out there and finding other boards. Kind of makes for, again, a fun way to play old arcade games. But guys, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.